From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
And basically the hand was just shooting at them, right? And so then I realized, like, oh, that's like a drive-by. That's not firecrackers.
Witnesses described the mayhem after a rolling gun battle along San Francisco's Embarcadero. The new video of that shooting that happened on Father's Day.
Plus, Amanda, the commander-in-chief, spending this morning in the Bay Area, his busy day today as the fundraising battle heats up. And today is the last day of spring, heading into the first couple days of summer. It's actually kind of chilly. I'll break down why that's happening coming up in your First Alert forecast.
And we want to get right to traffic this morning because we've got a major problem blocking lanes along 80. If you are headed out of Richmond into El Cerrito, expect a lot of brake lights. In fact, let's go live right now to Mobile 5 there on the scene. It's a crash involving two vehicles westbound 80 near Cutting. Two big rigs, in fact. One of them was carrying a lot of sugar, and that is now spilling into the roadway. The big rig is actually stuck underneath the other one. So this is taking a long time to get this cleared out of lanes. It's been out there again since about 1 this morning. The last update from CHP, they were hoping at about 6:45 they should have lanes open up. In the meantime, 3 lanes are completely shut down. One person in this crash was actually airlifted to a hospital with serious injuries. But look at that backup. It is building. And as we get more and more into the morning commute, it's going to be a pretty tough ride across 80. So let's get you some alternates. If you are taking 80 this morning, maybe making that ride out of Richmond into El Cerrito. Again, 3 lanes are blocked at Cutting Boulevard, San Pablo Avenue. That's a good surface street pretty close to there that you can use as an alternate. Now, if you're trying to make your way towards the Bay Bridge and you're commuting, say, from Highway 4 out of Bay Point, you can always use 680 down to 24. No delays there right now, and make your way over towards the Bay Bridge. That's where the metering lights are on, and that backup is building, but it's not too bad just yet, likely due to all those cars stuck in that backup due to that big rig crash. We'll keep you updated on this all morning long. Amanda.
You know what, Gianna, though, at least it's nice outside. So it's a pretty view from your car if you're driving slow right now. Check this out from our Mark Hopkins camera, looking out across the bay. Beautiful sunrise for us on this Tuesday morning to get us going. But it's a little chilly out there. You're going to want to grab a jacket.
I know the sun is always deceiving in these early morning hours. It's beautiful, though, out
Gorgeous.
there. And the winds are so much more light compared to yesterday. Yesterday, we were dealing with those gusty conditions. This morning, we're waking up to calm winds throughout most of the Bay Area. Not really reporting much on our wind gust map right now. Now, here's what we're looking at for the last day of spring, heading into the first day of summer early tomorrow morning. Low pressure is going to kind of start cutting off and really moving into our coastline, allowing for a cool start to the summer season for us here in the Bay Area. It is actually going to be pretty chilly in certain spots, in my opinion, at least. Now, on average, Livermore is usually sitting around 84 degrees during this time of year. We're going to be sitting at 72 as we head into the first full day of summer just on Thursday. Of course, tomorrow we're still sitting in those mid to upper 70s off in the East Bay. But here's what we're looking at right now, and here's what we're looking at heading into this afternoon. For Walnut Creek, a beautiful sight to see. Clear conditions over the East Bay right now. Temperatures warming up fast. 63 just by 10 a.m., 75 heading into the afternoon. Daytime highs around 4 o'clock. Now, plenty is happening for us today. There's the Giants game in San Francisco. There's plenty of events all throughout the Bay Area as we head into this week, just in time for Pride. San Mateo alone this afternoon, sitting in the upper 60s as we head into our daytime highs. Now, we're going to see a lot of changes in the forecast for us heading into this weekend. The marine layer will make its debut once again. I'll let you know when that's going to happen coming up in your First Alert forecast in just the next 10 minutes. But for now, back to you, Amanda.
Jess, thanks. Well, new this morning in the East Bay, fire crews knocked down a 4-alarm warehouse fire in Antioch. Contra Costa Fire responded to the abandoned structure just before 11 p.m. last night at Marina Plaza. But crews say they had trouble getting to the warehouse and had trouble putting it out because of windy conditions. There are currently no reports of any injuries. Meanwhile, we have learned one person has been arrested, another detained after that gun battle along San Francisco's Embarcadero on Father's Day. This all began around 6:45 Sunday night when people from 2 cars started shooting at each other right in front of Pier 39. They raced down the Embarcadero, still firing, till one car stopped at Embarcadero and Howard. 2 suspects were shot and 4 others were hurt, including a young girl hit by one of those speeding cars as she walked her bike across the road. Betty Yu has new video of how all of this happened.
A day after gunfire erupted in front of Pier 39, business appeared to be as usual here on this holiday. We are getting new witness accounts of the violence.
Somebody shooting an AR over here, it sounded like. So we're all hiding in the basement. We have the kids and everything, you guys.
Shaken and breathless, this Central Valley tourist hid with her kids and family in a room at Pier 39 Sunday evening and detailed her experience on Facebook Live.
All we heard was a lot of gunshots. Everybody started running and screaming, so we were in lids and we all ran upstairs.
A few blocks away, this dashcam video recorded the chaotic scene outside. It shows people on the pedestrian walkway and street below running to safety. Another person is seen ducking behind a parked car.
And a hand outside with a pistol, right?
Pedicab driver Thomas Rudenko saw the gunfire.
And basically the hand was just shooting at them, right? And so then I realized, like, oh, that's like a drive-by. That's not firecrackers. And so I hit the ground. And then everyone else all of a sudden here just started running and panicking. Like, you just saw everyone kind of run inside.
Meanwhile, a black SUV and white sedan involved in the rolling gun battle could be seen racing through the intersection on the Embarcadero and later through a group of bicyclists that we've blurred. SFPD later said a 10-year-old girl was hospitalized for her injuries. 6 people were hurt altogether, including 2 suspects from Pittsburgh.
I've been here 28 years.
Bob Partwright with Simcoe Restaurants operates several popular eateries at Pier 39.
This event across the street, it was a little closer than anything that's happened, but luckily it was the first and hopefully the last.
On Monday, plenty of new visitors took in all the sights.
And we reached out to San Francisco police to ask more about the suspects and what they've learned about a possible motive. We have not heard back just yet. We did hear from some city leaders who said while crimes like this are rare, they're obviously concerning.
People rightfully so feel unsafe because it just shouldn't happen, period. And we need to do more to send a signal that it's not acceptable in San Francisco, that we are going to vigorously arrest and prosecute anyone who's causing mayhem on our streets.
There have been multiple shootings that have rattled nerves in the past several days in the city. 9 people were shot during a block party in the Mission District back on June 9th. The day after that, a shooting at a nightclub near Balboa Park injured 3 people. And on June 12th, a gun battle at Presidio Park erupted steps away from a busy playground. Jocelyn.
Well, Amanda, this morning, President Joe Biden is still in the Bay Area and has another day of fundraising ahead of him. He is expected to attend at least one event in Marin County today with Governor Gavin Newsom before leaving. This is after spending yesterday in Silicon Valley. He attended a pair of high-dollar events in Los Gatos and Atherton. But before that, he was in Palo Alto with Newsom, where he announced a $600 million climate investment for U.S. coastal communities and $67 million to modernize California's electric grid. Ken and Bennett Rosenberg, father and son, who you're about to hear from, were along the route of the motorcade yesterday. They say they hope candidates in this presidential election hear concerns around the environment.
We really need to accelerate the turn to sort of heal our environment, because I'm thinking about my future, I'm thinking about my kids' future.
Biden was not the only candidate in California yesterday. Republican presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis spent the day fundraising in Northern California. Sonoma State University political science professor David McEwen says it's not an accident candidates come here.
You have to go to Silicon Valley, you have to go to Hollywood, you have to be seen with that in crowd, and it representing, California is kind of the ATM of American politics.
DeSantis was in Sacramento and then headed to the Bay for another event in Woodside. His visit comes just weeks after sending dozens of migrants to Sacramento. Amanda.
Well, let's look at our other top stories now. The U.S. Coast Guard is leading a desperate search for 5 people on board a small submarine that was touring the Titanic wreck. The small vessel vanished on Sunday about 900 miles east of Cape Cod. Experts say this vessel goes down with only 96 hours of oxygen to begin with, so the clock is ticking here. Rescuers are racing against time, hoping to find it in a remote part of the ocean. Violence erupted in the West Bank as Israeli troops raided a refugee camp to arrest 2 wanted militants. Israel's military says armored vehicles were ambushed with troops trapped inside, and several soldiers were injured in the raid. Palestinian health officials said at least 5 Palestinians were killed, including a 15-year-old boy, and dozens of others were wounded. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says military communication with China is still a work in progress following 2 days of high-stake talks with President Xi Jinping in Beijing. China shut down those lines of communications after the U.S. downed a Chinese spy balloon earlier this year. Blinken's trip to China was aimed at relieving tensions between the two countries and finding areas of agreement. Let's look at your top story.